time since I've done a video. This is actually a live. This is actually my first live. Wow, so much has gone on since the last time I officially launched a video. I mean, like a regular video. So much has gone on. Unfortunately, my family had suffered a tragic event. Over the past year, my husband suddenly, mysteriously got sick and he was in a coma for 7, almost 8 months. And then he had passed away. During that time, I had to completely change my mindset for my business, everything that I did. There's so much, and it's too much to explain right now, but I had to go on a path where I had to completely, it's hard to explain, redo. I don't know if this is the right word, but completely change. My life completely changed as far as healing is concerned. I had to learn everything from scratch about healing. My business at that time, many of you know that I do social media for small business owners. I do other things as well as copywriting, content writing, creation, and also coaching. And to make a long story short, at that time, when my husband first got sick, I felt led to really focus on growing my business, whereas I wasn't doing all the work. And unfortunately, I dabbled into other income streams that weren't as, I would say, sustainable. Not that they weren't sustainable, but no, they weren't that sustainable. But I can't get away from this. I can't get away from doing social media, copywriting, content writing, all of that industry where you're creating content for small business owners. I just can't get away from that, right? And coaching because it pays. I remember and I'm jumping around a lot. I remember in 2008 or 2011, around that time, between 2008 and 2011, that was during the big recession. And I had work. I had work. I was content creator. I remember I went to a deli on Long Island in New York, and it was in Huntington. And on the newspaper was like recession, people losing jobs. And that's when during the housing crisis. But I had work. I was actually going to a park in Huntington. It was in Huntington Village. And I was going to call a client that needed help. He owned an agency, a web development agency, and they needed help with creating content. Now, times has changed years later, and I'm still doing the same thing. And during the time when my husband got sick, it kind of saved me. The only thing, my biggest regret is that I didn't focus more on what I felt led. The Lord had led me to focus on growing my coaching slash social media business to the point where I wasn't doing all the work because he was able to see what I couldn't see, right? And I didn't really do it until until my husband was in and out the hospital. And then that's when I made the decision, well, I really need to focus on getting people to help me. And unfortunately, I still didn't do that because there was so much going on. I have a daughter. She was 8 at the time. This happened last year. And my husband was sick, in and out the hospital, and I became his caregiver overnight. And at the same time, after a day went by, time went by, I didn't feel like doing work. I didn't feel like doing client work. And unfortunately, I didn't have that backup plan. It's so important, regardless of what business you're in. It's so important to make sure that you have a solid backup plan where you're not doing all the work, that you have someone helping you. That's really what I should have done. And I had no excuse because I've been training for that for the past 3 years. So I had no excuse. But that's another story for another time. My husband, we were on our way. This happened back in February of 2023. We were on our way to a doctor's appointment. And my husband suddenly had a heart attack in an Uber car. And that day, it was 4 heart attacks. And that's where my faith began to explode. I learned how to really pray and get results, but at the same time, I had client work. So while I was sitting in the hospital praying that my husband does not die and lives, at the same time, I had to take care of my daughter. And at the same time, I had to grow my business. At the same time, I had to do client work. I could not outsource the particular work that I was working on. So I don't know how I got the strength to do that. I was thinking the other night, I was like, how did I do that? How did I run a content creation slash copywriting business, homeschool a child, and go back and forth to the hospital every day? How did I do that? So anyway, I just came on here to share about a little bit about the industry, copywriting industry, content creation as far as writing content for other clients, VA, virtual assistant type of agency, even AI. There's so much in that particular pool, and I have to split this up so that I can speak coherently, because I'm jumping all over the place. But I've been doing this for the past 19 years. Actually, November will be my 19th anniversary of creating content for clients. And it actually saved me, because if I didn't have this unique skill that I have, yes, I wasn't able to outsource the content like I should have. I kind of scaled back on my coaching, which I should not have. I really should have kept on it, because at the mind space that I was in at that time, when my husband was in the hospital, when he was in the coma, I was able to get online by God's grace. He gave me strength. I tapped into the strength that he has already given me. Because I believe God already gives us strength. It's not like I have to pray for strength for him to give me or to give us. So I had that strength. I had that confidence, learning about healing. And I learned so much that it even helped me with my business. And I was beginning to get results, even with my husband. And before, things took a turn. And I was like, content creation really saved me, because I was able to stay at home. I did not have to, even though, unfortunately, I did have to put a GoFundMe. And that's not me. I'm not a GoFundMe person. I had no choice. I was desperate. I could not think. I'm at the hospital, and the doctors are telling me, oh, no, he's not going to make it. And at the same time, I have bills and housing payments and rent payments. And I'm like, everything's happening at the same time. And I'm like, I can't even focus on marketing my business. So I put up a GoFundMe, and friends and certain family members funded that GoFundMe. But at the point, that dried up. So I did not want to have to go out and work for someone else. I did not want to have to apply for government assistance. That really, really scared me, because a lot of friends and even some family advised that I do that. That was like the scariest moment in my life, because I did not grow up in that realm. I did not grow up in that realm, and I felt like my parents did well. I always had, when I was a kid growing up, I always had what I wanted. I wanted the same thing for my daughter, and when people were coming at me oh, you should apply for government assistance, that was the scariest thing, because I had no excuse. I shouldn't have even been in the position that I was, because I had 3 years to grow my business to a point where if I needed to take a few months off, I could have done that. But I was focused on income streams that didn't serve me at that time. To make a long story short, yes, it saved me. Doing content for clients saved me. If I had to do it over again, at the point where the Lord led me to focus on my content creation business, because at that time I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit because I wanted to do my passions. My passion, which happens to be writing, there's different things. I had goals for fashion, writing. There was other things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to focus on that, speaking engagements. I wanted to focus on that. But I kept getting drawn back in on the content creation and building an agency, a sustainable content creation slash copywriting agency. But at that time, AI was new, and everybody's like, "Oh, AI is going to take over. Copywriters and content creations are going to lose everything. They're not going to be able to do it because AI is going to take over." And that was the biggest lie that I tried to listen to. That's not the case. Um, that's not the case. If I had to do it over again, let me stick to one subject. If I had to do it over again, I would have scaled back on the income stream that myself and my husband were working on at the time. I would have focused on my coaching, social media, copywriting coaching. I would have focused on that, growing it to a point where it was scalable. And I would have also done for you on the side. But I would have grew it to the point where the income was high, where it would have replaced the income stream that I was on at the time. And what I would have done is I would have focused on outsourcing the work to reliable people. There were agencies, there were people who were contacting me, telling me that, oh, hey, hi. And even at the time that my husband, and I have to say this one thing, especially when people watch, like, oh, she must not love her husband, or maybe they didn't have a tight relationship because she seems so peppy. God has given me and my daughter supernatural peace, which is another story for another time, where it's kind of like I escaped the grieving process to the point where I'm crying and sobbing and not able to do anything, the grief of a widow. But the Lord has supernaturally blessed me to be able to escape that. I just wanted to put that there because people are like, oh, she's talking, she's bubbling like nothing ever happened. I don't want people to think that. But if I had to do it over again, I would have focused on growing the coaching business slash um, done for you services for clients. And someone came to me and offered, as it was a VA that came to me out of the blue, very professional, very helpful, out of the blue, and she was willing to do the work for me, did not know me from Adam, okay? Was willing to do the work for me for free for the first 3 months. And then afterwards, if I liked the service, then she offered me various packages that I could choose to move forward. And I gave her some of the work. And guess what? I didn't give her all the work, which I should have done. I tried to do the work. So I was sitting up in the hospital in the ICU with my husband, hooked up to machines, trying to do client work. So if I had to do it over again, I had a second chance. So I could have given her the work. All I had to do is sit down and show her what I did. I would have done that. I would have grew my business. There was time between 2021 up in 2022, the end of 2022, when my husband mysteriously got sick. That's when I had all that time. I was in training. So I knew what to do. People were telling me your business is not positive. People who are in business, who were doing better than I was doing, was telling me your business is not sustainable. The best thing to do is not do all the work. And I didn't listen. But to make a long story short, I would have done that. I would have scaled my business. I would have raised my prices, number one. Um, I would have raised my prices, and then I would have hired someone, not hired, but I should say partner. I like to say partnered with someone, even if I had to go to Upwork and do this. I would have partnered with someone who was clear-headed and would do the work better than me. I had people in my network, people on my team, people on my team, my coaching team who could have done the work for me. Duh. So anyway, actually, you know what? I couldn't outsource at the time, but if I grew the business to the point, I could have outsourced the work to reliable people. People in my coaching program could have done this for me, done the work for me professionally. Then I could have hired a partner with a project manager who would have been clear headed. When I say clear headed, someone that wasn't going through what I was going through, going back and forth to the hospital. If I had that segment of my life where I outsourced the work to people, reliable people, at the same time having business come in, I could have trained them to have help me with the business, the marketing of the business. I would have had a reliable, stable income. I wouldn't have to do the GoFundMe. People wouldn't have to approach me and say, "Oh, you should apply for this program and that program." I would have had a reliable business. I could have scaled back, let them handle it. I would have just popped on once in a while because at the time, even though I was stressed with my husband and everything that was going on, financially, it was stressful. It's almost like I couldn't decide which was more stressful: the stress with my husband being in the hospital, the love of my life, married for 27 years, and the stress economically. So if I didn't have that stress and I listened to the people who were coaching me, someone even hired me to help them run their business, I knew what to do. I could have taken off a few months. That economic stress could have been put aside. I wouldn't have to go through that. But anyway, to make a long story short, I don't want this to be too long, but it is so important to make sure, regardless of what business you have, make sure you have people outsourcing. Make sure you're not doing all the work yourself. Not doing all the work yourself. And having a virtual assistant business, having a copywriting business, AI business. When I say AI copywriting business, or there's a couple of people had asked me about that, and I was going to do a video on that. Social media management, anything in that type, SEO writing, anything in that type of business. Even if you're a graphic designer, you own a graphic business, make sure you're not doing all the work yourself. You're not the sole person doing the work. You can convert your business into an agency where there's reputable people who are doing the work better than you do. People who you trust, who you can hand off the work to. A project manager who loves what they do. They love managing the ships. They're the captain. They love managing the ship, so to speak. Set it up like an agency. And then if you want to come around and you want to do work, certain projects that you feel like you want to do, one or two projects, but after 3 clients, make sure you set it up as an agency where you're not doing the work by yourself. Because you never know when you want to take off. You need to take off time. You need to take, if you get sick, I don't like saying, oh, if you get, I hate being negative about that, but suppose you get sick, not in a bad way, suppose you get a flu, okay? Suppose you're pregnant, or your wife is pregnant, you need to take time off. Suppose your spouse gets sick, a loved one gets sick, and you just need that time to just, you know what, I just need to focus, I just need to take time off, I'm totally stressed out. You're burnt out and you're stressed out. You could do that. But yet your business is running for you. And a social media management business, a virtual assistant business, a copywriting business, SEO business, is sustainable. Okay, there are businesses, small business owners in your backyard, locally, who need this type of work. There are Fortune 100 companies that are hiring people for this work. I gotta go. I can't make this too long, but that's what I would do. If I had to start things over again, I would start that type of business. Also added to that is digital marketing. I'm speaking about a lot of things here, things that I've actually done myself. But it's right now, I'm at a space where I'm happy. It's like I created a job for myself, but what I need to do now is outsource the work to people. That's what I'm currently doing now. And building my coaching. I loved coaching. I enjoyed helping people. People were getting results, and I don't know why I quit. In my brain, I figured, things will be faster if I just try to do things myself, which is a big mistake. But that's what I would do because it's sustainable. There are people who are making six figures. Yep. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm a coulda, woulda, shoulda. A coulda, woulda, shoulda is a person that could have done it. I could have been making six figures right now if I didn't steer myself away to other income streams that weren't serving me at that time. But I have to give myself grace. I did not give up because that's what I was going to do. I was going to give up, and I'm so glad that I didn't. Because right now I'm sitting here. It's a Saturday afternoon. I need to get back home. It's a Saturday afternoon. I'm able to spend time with my daughter at the park. I'm able to do client work. I have client work that I have to do. Yes, I have to do it myself. I'm building my YouTube channel. I have time to do that. Monday, I'm back at it with doing client work, marketing my business, setting aside time to do the hobbies that I enjoy and things that I'm passionate about, like writing books. I'm able to do that. I don't have to go to a job that I hate. You know, I don't have to go to a job that I hate. I'm not stressed out about the thought of being on public assistance. And I just want to say this. There are people that might be watching this that have been on public assistance, or maybe you are on it right now. I'm not bad-mouthing you or anything like that. I'm just saying for myself, at the time, that was not a good option for me because I knew better. I knew better as far as growing my business. I should have been at a higher rank in my business where I could have taken off time to deal with the stresses with my husband. But I have to give myself grace. I did it. I actually did that. Running a business, a content creation / copywriting business, while my husband was in the hospital and at the same time homeschooling my daughter. At the same time. So anyway, so yeah, so I was able to do that. Thank God. I mean, at the time, my day for the schedule. The reason why I'm telling you this is because if you're thinking about becoming a VA or going into the content creation, digital marketing, or it's digital marketing as far as providing digital marketing services for small business owners. If you're thinking about going into any type of social media management type of business, there's opportunities out there. There's opportunities out there, and there's companies that are hungry that need the help. And there are people out there that are willing, you could partner with, who would do a better job than you do. I just totally lost my train of thought. Okay? I totally lost my train of thought just now. There was something I wanted to say, and it had to do with the industry. It's growing. Yep, it's growing. It's growing, and I've been doing this for 19 years. It's evolving, changing, and it's growing. There's so many opportunities out there. And I don't want this to be too long. I'll probably come back on with another live. I was just testing this out in reality. I just want to see if it really worked. No, but anyway, seriously, I wanted to share because I really needed to come on and say hi to you guys because I've been off the platform for almost a year. And I have a couple of other videos that I posted recently, but I really haven't came on because I did this video series, and all of a sudden I stopped. But there's so many opportunities out there. There's one thing that I want to say is with starting. If you're in a position, if you're thinking about providing these type of services for small business owners, I have a training actually in my Facebook group, Social Media Preneur, and I'll probably put the link in the bottom, but the bottom of this live. But there are so many opportunities out there, and I find that web development companies that cater to high ticket clients are best to work with. Um, Even if you're starting off on your own and you don't have an agency yet, they still need that help. They really need help. And what I like about working with web development companies is that you can work with multiple web developers. They have clients already, especially the successful ones. You want to only work with people who are successful in their business. Web developers who are successful and they have 50, 100, 25 clients regularly every month, because their clients become kind of like your clients. And what I find is when I've worked with web developers, I also worked with coaches, and I find that there's a big difference. When I worked with web developers, I didn't have to do any marketing at all. They have their own ads. They have their own Facebook ads and their own digital Google ads where they're seeking clients. They had some of them even have teams. Sorry about that. Some of them even have teams that go out and find work for them, clients for them. Working with those are the best because you don't have to worry about marketing. Now, when I work with coaches on the side, I always felt like I had to go and kind of like do a video and promote myself, and always showing up, making sure I always have new, fresh content. But I even shifted with that, and I started doing copywriting services, teaching copywriting within the coaching, within my client coaches VIP teams. So I became a coach where I didn't have to do marketing because they already had the clients. And I find that's the easiest way to start off. What I like about it is you don't, unlike a traditional business, you do not have to wait years and months to start making money if you know how to do it right. You can find clients right away. You can find clients right away. And if you have a team, a solid team working with you, even better, because you can outsource the work. And that's what I teach in my coaching. It's so easy. And the thing with the I was listening to negative people, which was a big lie. I went out and I got some AI training, and I added that as a segment where I attached it to Facebook ads. That's another story. It's called prompt engineering. That's another story for another time. It's really, really, really exciting. And I would have missed that if I gave up. I would have missed that. And it's like I almost can't believe how being in the content creation for clients is a completely, how it's evolved and how it's still sustainable today. It's more sustainable than a regular job. I've done real estate. I've sold cars. During the pandemic, still the same. I always had work. Um, even now, even now, there are people who need help with their social media, with their websites. There's so many avenues, so many ways that you can make money online in this type of industry. There's so many segments in this industry. And I jumping around a lot. It's the easiest business to start. I've done real estate, and even with my social media background and marketing background, it was still a pain in the neck. Kind of a pain in the neck to get clients at that time. Plus I wasn't in the best market. But
Hello, Moto.
I gotta go now. I'm gonna jump back on, but I really, really gotta go. I will speak to you guys soon. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. Just give me a second while I put this down. You know the camera's probably wackadoodle right now. So anyway, as I was saying, um, I believe, no, I know, I don't believe. I know that I'm just going to go down the line, becoming a virtual assistant. Um, as far as with an agency, virtual assistant, social media manager, copywriter, digital marketer. When I say digital marketer, I mean digital marketer as far as digital marketing agency, or launching an agency where you're servicing clients who need content created is is here to stay for a while, you know? And there's so many opportunities, so many segments. Um, this time last year, I just had my segment where I was still providing content for clients, right? Now I added a segment, as I had mentioned. I'm not sure if you got that part, but anyway, I provide ads for clients through the power of AI prompt engineering. So I expanded, and it's evolving. But unlike other types of online businesses, this is where I got cut off and I got sidetracked. Even with being a real estate agent and other types of businesses, it took a long time. I mean, I don't know if it was because it had to do with the market. Number one, it was the market that I was in. And because some reason I was on the mindset where I kept running into the wrong type of clients. I had to fix that. I started working as a social media manager for a car dealership, Ford. And I learned more about gaining clients. And I find that starting an agency where you're producing content for clients is one of the fastest. There's many ways to make money online, but this is, for myself, this was one of the fastest ways to make money online, a sustainable income. So even in 2024 and beyond, the outlook, I don't like to say job outlook, but I did some research. The job outlook is growing, but I should say the entrepreneurial outlook is also growing too. There are businesses that need these services. And the thing that I had missed, I thought that AI was going to take over and then nobody was going to need any type of content ever again because they have ChatGTP and they have all of these services, and I was dead wrong. That wasn't true. And I'm glad I didn't listen. But there's so many opportunities. I'm standing here on a Saturday doing a live stream, and I have to go back home now because I have to cook, and I'll probably come back out later on back to the park. I have some videos I need to upload, so I have a little time to do that. I have client work that I need to do, and I have some time to rest and to think because these past few months were crazy. They were really, really crazy. Now, what I'm going to do is just focus on not trying to do everything myself. That was the biggest mistake. And I had it handed to me on a silver platter. I worked with clients who were high ticket clients, not were, who are high ticket clients, who kind of like took me on the back end of their business and showed me how they made money, how they were able to grow $1 million business, multi-million dollar business. So I was handed, it's like, hey, Danielle, this is what you do. It was like, God was like, okay, so this is what you do, Danielle, because in the next couple of years, this is going to happen. So if you start now, you have some time to grow your business. I was on the right track. I have to give myself some grace. I have to give myself some grace, and I have to chop this off in a minute because it's too long. I don't want it to be too long, but I have to give myself some grace because at the time I was struggling a little bit because the market was shifting. And at the time, I kind of like put all my eggs in one basket. I was working about 80% of my clientele were all coaches. And at that time, the coaching industry was shifting. So it was like coaches were struggling to get clients. So everybody was rebranding. And I was like, oh my goodness, I think I might have to go back to working with web development companies because then at least, I don't have to worry about doing all this marketing because it's like everybody that, even with the coaching, my own coaching, I kept running into people who couldn't afford my services, and I didn't know at that time. It was a mindset set issue that I had that my the coach that I had at the time was sharing with me. So I was able to break through, but because of fear, I kind of like put my business on the back burner and was like, you know what? I'm so tired of trying to push every day, trying to get clients. In reality, I wasn't pushing that hard. But was like, I'm just going to do this other income stream. At least the money's there. I can make money, daily. And, I don't have to worry about clients, trying to get in front of clients and, doing videos and stuff like that because I was focused on the coaching side of the business. But oh my goodness, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong. But that's okay. It worked out. You know, I had to start my business from scratch. I did have a client that has been with me since 2013, and his business picked up even more because he got this big client that's a franchise. So he had multiple clients, and it worked out where I don't want to give too much away, but anyway, that's why I like working with, I said web development companies, but also digital marketing agencies, those SEO companies. That's all web development, all of that, because they still need help. And his clients kind of like became my clients. So with him, I don't have to do any marketing. He does his company does the marketing. He gets clients every month. I don't have to worry about that. I just like, oh, you have a new client? Okay. So he sends me what I'm supposed to do and I do it. Simple as that. I'm not up there doing a bunch of I haven't done a marketing video. When was the last time I actually did a marketing video? Because I completely shifted my business. I haven't done a marketing video since 2023. It's been a while since I've done a marketing. Being consistent doing marketing videos, it's like I kind of stopped, with all the craziness with my husband being sick. But yeah, it's the easiest working with those agencies. But anyway, to make a long story short, I am doing a training, upcoming training in my Facebook group. I decided to just do it inside live in my Facebook group. And I'm going to share with you how to launch an agency, content creation agency. So, and that falls under the spectrum of social media management agency, virtual assistant agency, I'm just going to stick to those, and also digital writing as far as SEO writing. That's another realm. But I'm going to show you how to launch an agency, how to do it the right way, how to price your packages, and how to look out and how to partner with companies like Upwork. And there are actually other companies, like private companies, that provide content creation services for other companies, how you could partner with them and start a business online that caters to people, to small business owners, or even Fortune 500 companies, how to do it, how to make money from it, and what to do to scale it. Because times are changing. Things happen overnight, and you may need to take time off. Suppose you want to go on vacation. Suppose you want to retire early. You can actually do this on this type of business. That's all I have to say right now. But anyway, getting back to the training, I have a training coming up, and I'm going to show you, as I mentioned, exactly how to do this sustainably, how to do it the right way, and how to avoid the mistakes that I have made. You can avoid them. You could be doing better than I'm doing, because I'm starting from scratch. If you're not starting from scratch, the sky is a limit on what you can do. Man, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm going to be back on here Oh my goodness. I'm originally from Long Island, New York, North Babylon, West Babylon area, in Suffolk County. So I still have my Long Island accent. I live in a different state now. I live in Ohio. And yeah, so I still, my accent still kind of creeps in. And this is another thing. This type of business, you could work from anywhere. And you're not limited to the United States. When I first started years ago, um, I used to do a lot of work with people overseas in the UK, even China, um, different places where I had clients. The majority of my clients now are in the United States, but the sky is the limit. They need these type of services, and opportunities come from out of this. Any type of opportunity can come out of this. You can even start training. If you have a skill, if you have a certain skill, you could become a trainer and train for organizations online. They'll pay you $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month. The opportunities are endless. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't quit. I'm so glad I didn't give up because today I'm able to do what I desire to do. I have control of my own schedule. And even when I was going through the tragic event with my husband, I was still in control of my schedule. Because when I said that the finances were a little wacky and crazy, eventually I had to rely on, first I had to learn how to rely on God because I wasn't really relying on Him 100%. But I had something to fall back on. I had my skill to fall back on. Yep. And I'm so excited. I'm excited about life. I'm not giving up, you know? As I mentioned, even when my husband, eventually he was in a hospital and then they sent him to a nursing home. And I was able to getting back to healing. I learned a lot about healing. So my schedule for the day, I would get up, I would make breakfast, and my daughter and I, we would go to the hospital. I remember this time last year in the summer, we would go to he was still in the hospital, but he was in a second hospital, a different hospital, a more permanent type of hospital. And we would go, and every day, nighttime, I had to fill my brain with everything positive. I was learning about healing. I started reading books on Andrew Womack about healing, and my mindset was shifting. I would walk in the hospital with confidence, and then afterwards we would get something to eat. Most of the time we had to eat out. Um, Afterwards I would come back home, and I would always check my phone because I was always afraid that they would call me and tell me his nurse in the hospital. I was always afraid that they would call, so I would constantly look at my phone and like if I did see the number of the hospital, I'd kind of like slightly panic and be like, "Oh, hello," and that was my daily routine. And I would have to do client work, and I should have been outsourcing. I was just like not in the mood. Like I didn't really feel like marketing as much as I could. I didn't really feel like training someone to do this, what I was doing. So it was crazy. And then afterwards I would go back into learning everything that I knew about healing. My faith rose up, and I would just walk into the hospital room. I would pray over my husband. I would start to see results, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting these results. What if I started using this faith and this prayer that I'm praying and getting results the right way to pray, because I was not praying the right way. I was praying with worry and doubt. What if I did this with my business? And that's what I did. And then a month after my husband had passed, it was like around November, December, a couple of months because he passed in October. So it was around November, December, I got trained to do Facebook ads. Nothing nothing heavy handed. Facebook ads and AI prompt engineering. So I added that segment to my business. So I started to grow it. Not as much as I could have because I was still in that mode where I was like, you know what? I'm just so tired. I just need to recuperate from what I've been through. My mind, my brain just needed to just rest. So I kind of did it a little by little and growing my business finally to where I'm able to pay myself an income. So if I can do that when my husband was in the hospital and I would go every day, I would go every day and pray for him and pray for results. I would spend like 2, 3 hours, sometimes four. I would go and I would get home. I would be exhausted, but I would do client work and I would slightly market a little bit, not as much as I could have. But if I could do that, it was like I became a single mom overnight. I have my daughter, she has needs. I couldn't just be on the computer all day. I had to do other things. We had to go to the park. We had to go to the water park. I still had to do grocery shopping. I had to cook. I had to do all of this at the same time, looking at that phone. Every time it would ring, I'm like, my heart would sink a little bit because I was afraid that they would call and tell me that he passed. But right now, I'm at a point, yes, I started from scratch, but this is the ease. I could not do some of the businesses that I've done in the past. I could not start from scratch doing real estate in that mindset. I took something that I was used to doing and just expanded. And you could do the same thing. If I can do it with a husband that was in a coma, you can do it. You can do anything. But anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm going to leave some info at the bottom about my Facebook group because that's where I'm going to house the first training. It's a free training. It's a free training where you can actually go and you can get started with launching your business. Then I'm going to offer, I do have a paid training segment. I'm going to share a little bit of details about that. But, sorry about that. Yes, I want to share a little bit of details about that. But anyway, I'll leave the details in the bottom. But like I said, starting a virtual assistant agency or even becoming a virtual assistant for someone at first, a social media manager, a copywriter, an SEO writer, in that type of industry, you can make money fast than most online businesses out there. And what I like about it, lastly, I'm going to end with this. You don't have to worry about, at first, of course, you have to do some marketing because, especially if you're starting from scratch. But once you find those good, solid clients, you don't have to worry about doing marketing because they bring the work to you. That's the key. You want to find clients, not those single individual startup companies that are like, oh, I'm starting up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to make money this month. You want those companies that are solid. They've been here for a long time, more than 3 years, and they're making money. You want those type of clients to help out. But anyway, that's all I have to say tonight. That's all I have to say tonight. That's all I have to say for now. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe to Social Mediapreneur Academy at Social Mediapreneur. And I will speak to you guys soon.